Hello and welcome to TNA Top 10. We actually got started on time tonight. Maybe we weren't prepared. We just kind of said it's time, let's hit the button. Didn't really have a plan, but here we are. I'm T Weave. I'm barely hanging in here. Probably going to lapse into a coma when this is done if I can get the words out. But I'm here with Allison, Faye, and Andrew. How are y'all doing?
I'm great, Terry.
I'm fabulous.
You know why I'm great?
Why are you great?
The wait is over. Football
is
every weekend until February.
Okay, let's put an hour delay on that. We'll really get into it.
Oh, no, that's why I'm excited. We made it.
Yeah,
And by the
great.
way, for those of you following me on social, I have been very outspoken about the political nonsense of this country. That ended officially yesterday at 12 noon when Florida State kicked off against Georgia Tech, which we will talk about in our second hour. But election season's over. I know who I'm voting for, and that will not change. So now it's all about football, which we encourage you to vote in our poll every week, both for this show and the football show for the next 17 weeks, Terry? Something like that.
A long time. At least that one. I mean, that one is just pretty much copy paste, adjust a couple of things and go. I mean, not a lot of work in those football polls as long as the teams are the same. But I'm looking at, and I said this in our chat the other day. I like the poll website that we use, but if I could write an app, I think that would be great. If people would, I would love feedback on that. If you would download an app, and if I wrote it, and there might be bugs because bugs happen, but you would get a notification when a new poll hits, or a notification when it's about to be over. Would you enjoy that? And I don't know if anybody's watching this or listening yet, but I would love any kind of feedback on that.
I mean, I think it would be a lot easier than what we currently use.
Yeah.
Peter's great, but I'd rather deal with Terry.
I hate not having those. And I'll tell you, the reason that we got the weird thumbnail thing when we share is because you cannot set it to make the thumbnail clickable on that website because they want their advertisement in there. So it makes it a little weird, but
Peter from India, Terry from Huntsville. I vote for Terry from Huntsville.
That's right. That's right. Well, Terry from Huntsville has been on the road
again.
And
tell us about your trip.
My son is still on the road. So Thursday morning, we got my 11-year-old Cyrus to school, and we took off north. So Houston and I went through Tennessee, or I went first. I left my car at the Nashville airport. He picked me up there, and we headed north through Kentucky. And we spent most of the day in Illinois and ended up sleeping in Springfield. And then we got up the next day on Friday, and we headed. Oh crap! I'm going to lose track of this. There's so many days. We went west, I guess.
Yeah.
Like what I need a map if I'm going to start talking. I'm going to act like I know something.
Yes, you do.
We went through Iowa. Okay, Iowa. That's the state I'm looking for. So we went through Iowa, and then we made it all the way across Iowa and to Omaha, and I had to come back. So I flew back from Omaha on Saturday all day. In Houston, he drove to what would it have been? Cheyenne? Yeah,
Wyoming?
He drove to Cheyenne,
Wyoming.
And then today he's been driving farther west, and he's headed to the Pacific Northwest. I won't go into too much detail there, but he's in the Coast Guard now. Very proud of him, and he's really enjoying himself. He's sending me videos and pictures and stuff. We ate some good food. He didn't let me drive much. That's one thing about it. I thought I was going to share the load on the driving. I drove a total of 4 hours in 2 days. And this kid drove the rest of the way. And he's driving the whole way. I think he drove 7 hours yesterday, 6 hours today. And I think he does 4-5-4 the rest of the way. So he's slowing down. But it's really pretty out there. And he's sending me pictures and videos. So pretty awesome. I had to go through, honestly, here's the way I process things. The night, let's see, it would have been Friday night. We're laying in the hotel room, and I just had to process this whole thing about I'm going to have to leave him and he's going to be on his own.
Mm-mm.
So I didn't sleep very well at all on Friday night, and then I flew back home Saturday. So I don't know how much sleep I've gotten recently. I'm still hanging in there, but as soon as this is over, I'm editing audio and putting it out, and I'm crashing.
Well, we're very, very proud of Houston.
Yeah.
So
And you, well deserved.
And you, Dad, yes.
Obviously, you get your time, but so Terry, why in the world would you just not fly direct? Oh, that's right, you fly Southwest because you get to pick your own seat.
Well, so there is a direct flight from Omaha to Nashville. And I didn't know about that until I'm sitting there in the airport in Dallas, or sitting there in the airport in Omaha, actually, waiting on my flight to Dallas. And I hear about the Nashville trip. Apparently it was full because I didn't book until 2 days ahead of time. So
Right.
I imagine that was just full.
yeah.
No, and having an extra connection though these days, and we all love to travel mostly because we love each other, but it is not easy to travel right now, and don't fly Delta. That's my advice. Don't fly Delta. They shut down the entire Atlanta airport. Don't fly Delta. Terry flies Southwest, and he's very disappointed, peek behind the curtain, that they are eliminating their policy on being able to pick your own seat.
It worked out well this time because both flights had a total of like 60 people. So everybody got their own row, unless you were with somebody.
How does see now you're going to get me? I'm not the producer. I go to Vegas with you two, and the flight is overbooked and overweight, and we have
because it was Omaha to Dallas Love Field.
I mean, let's think about this. Do you want to go to Omaha,
LaGuardia we're talking about,
or Las Vegas?
But Southwest somehow everybody gets their own seat. Sir, we're going to need you to put
the first time that's ever happened for me.
We're going to need you to put your feet down while you're landing. This is not an easy boy. You need to buckle
It's not spirit,
sir.
There you go. See, so it's not just us. It's not
we love
just
you, Randy.
We love Randy.
Miss you this weekend or this next week at Top Guy Weekend.
I won't. I'll see you.
Hope you have a good time. Seriously, you and James. Hold it down. Shout out, as your man likes to say.
Yeah, no more traveling for Terry. Terry's going to try to get back into the routine.
That's a lie. November the 30th.
Well, and I'm already thinking about flying up to see my son in the Pacific Northwest on Christmas. So I'm looking at those tickets. So we'll see. So we got Tuscaloosa for Thanksgiving.
We'll talk. Seriously.
We will. Yeah. Prices aren't too bad, but if we wait around, they'll be hard.
I'll say we might have to put it off for a year because of Houston's situation, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Well, it'll be in Auburn next year. Yeah, we need to put it off for a year, man.
If Nebraska makes the Big Ten championship, I'm going elsewhere anyway.
Man, all the football talk on the other show.
That's delusional optimism. I told you I'm high on football right now. Do not start with me, Terry.
Don't wait another hour.
You'll get there. We got a lot to talk about
52
today.
minutes and we'll be good. Yeah.
We do have a lot to talk about tonight, but I heard something, Terry, you can maybe confirm that you pissed her off again before I got on the air.
I pissed her off.
You pissed her off? That's what I heard.
No, it wasn't him. It was the people at Johnny Rockets, okay?
Johnny Rockets, okay.
Yeah, so
he's calling names.
Screw that. Yeah, there you go, Terry. Terry's having a refill. So I ordered, nice glass. I ordered sweet potato fries to go, okay?
How'd you order?
I wrote on the order, extra crispy. I pre-tipped, right?
Oh, pre-tip.
Because it asks you. It asks you because you're doing takeout, right? So it had a little kiosk.
All right.
So I go to pick up my food. Now, this is where it was my mistake because I didn't check it before I left. But I get up to my room, and you're going to get, for the people watching, you're going to get a great visual. This is what I get. Does this look like a crispy French fry to you? This does not look like, I dropped it. Oh, well. It's not a crispy French fry.
Fries.
It is. yes, it is floppy, and your girl doesn't like floppy things. So no.
And that's what he said as well.
There you go. But yeah, so that's why I'm pissed today, because I really was looking forward to these because they're really good when they're fresh and they're hot and they're crispy. When they're soggy, they taste like wet socks.
Well,
So-
to redeem waitresses, and this
Mhm.
is a story I forgot to tell.
Oh yeah, please.
Oh yeah.
So we start heading west, and we went through Iowa. We got over to Omaha. We went to breakfast in Omaha before I got on the plane, and we weren't sure if sweet tea was a thing. You know, because I know I've been through Texas, and to me, and there's some others that are tuned in that probably know a little more about this. When it goes from green to brown, that's what I say. The green part of Texas is the South. The brown part of Texas is the Southwest. And sweet tea stops existing
It's true.
around Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
It's very true.
Well, we were a little north of there, so I didn't know if the line was the same. So we're going, we're in Omaha, and apparently it's not really a thing in Omaha. But the waitress said she's from Louisiana, so she was going to make it the right way and make it hot and mix it up. So my son, I'm trying to teach my son. He's 18. He just got out of boot camp. I'm trying to teach him things. Right before we got food and everything, he tries to hand her a 20 for making the tea, and I'm like, dude, you gotta wait until the end, okay? And she's like, I'm just doing my job. I'm like, that's wonderful, but you got to wait till the end, and you just got to leave it there. So, lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
But he got his sweet tea. She said, "How many glasses will you drink if I make a pitcher?" He's like, "I'll drink at least 3." So she's like, "Okay, we're good." So she went and made it. So
that is impressive.
I can confirm, as a native of the great state of Nebraska, sweet tea does not exist. Around here in North Carolina now, you say you want iced tea, and it's sweet tea.
Mhm.
If you say you want unsweet tea, they look at you sideways, but they will bring it to you.
Wow. Yeah, why would you want that? Yeah.
Welcome
You
to
have
the
to-
Northeast. We
Yeah,
don't
you
have
have to-
sweet tea.
You have to specify here, Allison. This is, and you know this because you travel. This is a real thing
Mhm.
that you do not want sweet tea.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to have a cup of sugar in it. My only disappointing food thing, since I guess that's our topic, thanks to our producer,
Yeah.
is you all know that I don't eat fast food much. I'm
Right.
going to eat, my sit down restaurants if I'm
Mhm.
going out or I'm cooking at home. So last weekend we got the McDonald's gimmick. And I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. I haven't eaten there probably. Well, you and I got fries and Diet Coke, and
That's
they
right.
were right. This was not right. So we go to McDonald's, and I just got a 20-piece chicken nugget, and that's what I wanted. And they were like they weren't cold, but they weren't hot, and they weren't really warm either. And it was just a little disappointing. So what my point was is when you're looking forward to food and then it
Yeah.
sucks,
Yeah.
that is the worst.
That is the
That is
worst.
the worst.
The absolute freaking worst.
Well, the
Correct.
last thing on food before we move on, because we're several minutes beyond our timeline.
Yeah.
We went to the Iowa 80 truck stop on I-80, the biggest truck stop in the world. And we talked about the difference between truck stop and Buc-ee's, because Buc-ee's is not a truck stop. There's a technicality there, but the Iowa 80 truck stop's been there for a long time. You can tell because it's old looking, but they had a buffet, and we ate at the buffet. Oh, it was very good.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I have
They
never
had
heard
a
of
lot
that.
of stuff.
Breakfast,
I
lunch,
mean, they
or
had a
dinner?
chiropractor, a dentist,
What?
everything. Yeah.
What kind of buffet was it, Terry? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
We ate dinner. We ate lunch. Fried chicken.
Ooh.
They had other chicken meals. And,
We're all just like, ooh.
I'm telling you, in the Midwest, we know how to make food that will make
salad.
you fat. Have we met? Good Lord.
It was good. Yeah, it was very good.
You know that whole meat and potato thing?
Mm-hmm.
It's my people.
Yeah.
It's legit. It's legit.
So if you're ever passing, if you're ever going down I-80 in Iowa, what was Walcott was the name of it? Somewhere between
Walcott,
Iowa
Iowa,
City
yes,
and
sir.
Davenport or something. I don't know.
Yes,
I got to
you're
look
right.
at
It's
map.
Walcott.
See, I should have pulled a map up of the United States before I started talking today, but
Before Des Moines,
right.
which is
So it was
pronounced
on
Des
the
Moines,
eastern
not
side.
Des Moines.
Oh my goodness.
Des
You know
Moines,
what?
Anyway, that's
Iowa.
very good. And I
And
did
it
get
is-
a War Eagle at the Iowa 80 truck stop. I
Ooh.
will just throw that out there.
Somebody said
I
War
wear
Eagle
my
to
hat
you.
for a reason. It had to be a trucker that was from Alabama because we don't have fans all over the place like everybody else does.
See, this is what's disappointing is he's brought up football now. It
I
wasn't
know.
even me.
All
Nope.
right, let's move along to
Let's-
baseball. How about that?
let's
Time
move
for the
along.
baseball.
To the sport in which a Yankee is dominating.
The
What? Did I say
baseball.
that?
I'll
First
sit
and
back and
foremost.
listen because I have no part of this.
Oh,
That's
I'm giving
church.
this all to Andrew.
The baseball. Okay. Everybody knows. Terry, we've been doing this long enough. It's the baseball.
baseball.
Number one. Number two. The Yankees dominated today in 10-3. They take the series from Colorado. They beat Cleveland 2 out of 3. They are one game up on Baltimore. Best record in the AL. One game behind the Dodgers. By the way, as a show note, Ohtani is in the 40-40 club. So he blasted one last night to hit number 40. Talking about the Dodgers. Jazz is back. And the Yankees are on a roll. Today, the middle of the order, Juan Soto impregnating the New York City, doing his job again. Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, 3 home runs in a row, all solos. Aaron Judge, 332 batting average, 51 RBI or 51 home runs, 122 RBIs, and he is at 1.189 OPS.
Video game stats.
It is stupid, and that's what Giancarlo said. He says he's playing a video game. They asked him how is Judge doing it, and he says he's playing a video game. Mind you, Giancarlo hit one out of the dirt 450 in the same game that he made that statement. But yeah, and then of course the not so great team, the Mariners. They were 500, and they fired their manager.
They're 500 this year, and they fired their manager.
Yeah, buddy. They were 60. They're 65-65.
Wow.
And Scott Servais, I don't know if I said that right.
Service, I
680,
think.
680 and 642. So he's 514 over his career, 9 years. They fired him. Dan Wilson replaces him. They're 4.5 games behind Houston, 7.5 games back of wild card spot number 3. So it's not like they're off the rails like the White Sox. I mean, the Mariners, if the Mariners keep playing, they've got a chance to either overtake Houston or get that 3rd wild card spot. Even if 7.5 games sounds like a lot, it's not.
That's a long way right now.
Yeah. So anyway, and then I had to do Braves. Did I have to do Braves research? Do we have to mention the Braves?
You did, and I thank you for that because I got to tell you, I didn't do a bit of notes this week. I created the document. Andrew put all the notes in there, so I thank him for it. I did do graphics mostly for the football show because let me tell you, football season is much more graphics heavy than just doing the polls for the other show. There's a lot of graphics that come from football, so I did get that done about 5 minutes before I met Allison online. Just to let you know, I came in on 2 wheels. But the Braves, thank you, Andrew. I have not been able to pay attention to this lately, but I'm glad they're doing well. They are 6-4 in the last 10. They're only 5 games behind the Phillies. They're in that 3rd wild card spot. They had that first wild card spot for a while, but I'm getting real nervous about them because if they slip, this is tough. 3rd wild card spot. We need to climb a little bit. Jason Hayward, speaking of the Braves, Jason Hayward was sent down for assignment, so the Braves could snatch him up, and that's their style. Go get guys that used to play for you that are 40 years old. So the Jason Hayward may end up being on the Braves pretty soon.
Yep. Yeah, and then you got the Brewers, and I mentioned them last week.
Yeah,
but they're
boring, but they keep winning.
They have not slowed down. Well, Terry says they're boring. They're over 100 runs differential over all their opponents right now.
Yeah,
it's just the Brewers. It doesn't matter. It does not matter who's on there. I mean, because let me tell you a little history about Huntsville. So right now we've got the Trash Pandas. They are the AA team for the Angels. In the 80s, the Huntsville Stars were the AA team for Oakland, and that was amazing because Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, Terry Steinbach, Carney Lansford, they all played here, and that was fantastic. Then they got swapped over to the Brewers and completely fell apart because who gives a crap about the Milwaukee Brewers? I mean, I don't care how good they are. Nobody cares about the Brewers.
Well, I do,
So,
Terry, because they're first place in the NL Central. They are 10.5 games ahead of the Cubs. They are 8-2 in the last 10, 100+ run differential over their opponents, and they're 2 games behind the Dodgers for the best record in the NL.
They're good, and they don't get talked about. They probably need to be talked about more, but it's just because they're kind of bland.
Well, and
'Cause
this
they're
year,
the
let's be
Brewers,
honest,
but
they play in the
they're very
NL.
good.
They play in the NL Central, so they're in
Yeah.
there with the Cubs, St. Louis, Cincinnati. So it's not a good division. When you're 10.5 games up over second place, that's a lot. It's a lot of games.
So we'll see what happens in the playoffs. I think the Yankees are really set up well for the playoffs. I'm hoping the Braves can do something in the playoffs.
And I went and
Get
picked the
there
Indians
and win.
Allison, much to Allison's dismay, I said the Yankees wouldn't do it because they can't get out of their own freaking way. Oh,
I mean, right now, every time our reliever comes in, we all just go, "Oh God, no, please."
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Let him pitch. When Garrett Cole has thrown 84 pitches, no 1 hit, 2 walks, and you're in 5 or 6, let him pitch some more. What is?
Well, did you guys hear?
Crazy.
Did you guys hear they were proposing a rule change? I think for next year, where the starting pitcher has to pitch a certain number of innings.
That is
wrong.
And that is the dumbest thing. I mean, I am very much a baseball historian, and I wish there were 24 teams and 4 divisions. I mean, this is what I wish. The fact that they are trying to make it, I mean, that doesn't even sound real. I don't get that.
I mean, I was shocked when they put in the pitch clock, but anyway, we could sit here all day.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed baseball this year, but I think part of the other thing they've said too is the only way the proposed rule is they've got to pitch 6, if I'm not mistaken, and the only way you can pull the pitcher is if they give up 4 runs.
Okay, so that makes sense.
All right, but still,
I can kind of deal with that a little bit if they give up 4 runs, because if they don't give up 4 runs in 6 innings, that's probably the line. I mean, that's probably realistically the line.
But I think it's more about getting the players used to the longevity, because in the other hand, these days we're seeing a lot more pitchers go 4 or 5 starting pitchers. But then you get into the playoffs and nobody pitches more than like 3 innings. Like, it drives me nuts unless they're doing fabulous.
Well, like the Cleveland game, and I'll just say this to reiterate both your points. The Cleveland game that went 12 innings, Allison, longest game this season. New York loses the game in the 12th inning. They use 7 pitchers in that game. 7 pitchers, because the closer, not Schmidt, I always forget his name, but he's the other white guy that everybody absolutely keeps, like, if you look on Yankees things at all, you are not Mariano Rivera, and they keep like roasting this poor dude.
I send poor Andrew I wish we had Mariano text at least like once a week. So
once a week, yeah. But Mariano would have closed it down.
Speaking of Mariano, who is the GOAT, let's talk about wrestling. Because there was a goated event today, and it was pretty great.
I think All In was pretty good.
I hear the guys were hot. Is that true?
They only had.
I'm not a good judge of that, but I hear that was the case.
They only had 50,000 in the stadium. They should try harder.
So that, I'm gonna say, that was very obvious today. That it wasn't as packed as the first one. But Terry, you are 100% correct.
Well, I would just say we've got a group chat, and I'm the only person in the group chat that enjoys females. So when we're watching wrestling, there's a lot of talk about how hot the wrestlers are. So I just kind of tap out of the conversation.
Well, today we saw a lot. Today we saw a lot of the pull-off pants, which makes everybody happy. Nobody complains about that.
75%.
All right.
These
So-
matches are in no order, by the way,
Let's
because I
go.
did not reorder them for the notes. We've all watched them. 0 Hour, Willow and Ishii
Were
versus.
there 4 matches on 0 Hour?
I only thought there were 2.
No, there was 2 hours of 0 Hour. I'm pretty sure I watched at least 2 or 3 matches during 0 Hour.
I know there were 2.
2 hours.
I don't know.
They
Anyway,
I
started
missed
at 11.
0 hour and I missed the first hour, so I missed
Yeah.
a lot of it.
Ishii and Willow versus Stokely and Statlander. Get everybody on the card. Oh, and speaking of getting everybody on the card, the second match was the Von Erichs, Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, and some other person against Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and the Cage of Agony guys. So they're like the biggest jobber group in Ring of Honor, and nobody will change my mind. But my point to say any of that is that's 14 people in 2 matches. And then we're going to open up this event with the car crash known as a ladder match, a London's ladder match. Allison's going to give her opinions because Terry didn't see it. 12 people in this match. The Blackpool Combat Club, not the BBC. The Blackpool Combat Club, along with the what are they? The House of Black.
House of Black.
And then the Patriarchy, and of course, you have to add the Bang Bang Gang. And then we add Mama Wayne. So we got 13 people out here for this match. Allison, the floor is yours, man.
First of all, you had like 37 ladders out there, right? And then you have
the big ladder,
super big ladder. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? Why do you have all these other ladders if you've got a big ladder? Like, that drives me insane. You know, and then you got the little ladder with somebody's like, oh, I can make. No, you can't, fool.
And these are some low quality ladders, honestly, from the perspective of a ladder you would lose for something, because they hit somebody with it, and then at that point they can't even climb it anymore.
No, it's
and these matches
aluminum as you can get.
These matches aren't my favorite because you get all the spots where everybody stands around waiting for someone to jump on them. And then you get the spots where people are going through tables. It was pretty obvious with Billy Gunn's kids, Colton and I forget the other one, Austin, that they were going through those tables off of the ladders. The spot was pretty, I mean, you can see stuff coming. Here's the other thing though, when you've got 12 guys in the ring, it's a lot to keep up with.
Exactly.
It is genuinely a lot to keep up with. The brightest spot in this match to me, and you might have a different opinion, Allison, is Pac got his England moment in front of the home crowd.
Completely
he got
agree.
his Wembley moment.
Yeah, I was not upset with the result. I mean, it makes sense to me. I will ask a question though. In this match, Andrew, did he come out as Kill Switch or Luchasaurus?
Kill Switch.
Okay, so just keep that in mind for anybody who didn't watch.
Yeah, that comes into mind later. For me, I give it 1.5 or 2 stars. It did what it was supposed to do, but it's not my thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So. Oh, and I only rate them out of 5. And even if it's a 5-star match plus, it's 5, not 8. Dave Meltzer, it's 5.
What'd you give this one?
1.5 or 2 stars.
Yeah, I would give it maybe 2.
And we can grade them on letter grades. I'd give it a C minus.
I'd give it a D plus.
Letter grades would be good.
All right,
okay, letter grades it is. I'll give it a C minus to be nice.
Okay.
Next match pisses me off. The best story AEW has going. Mariah May, Tony Storm. Yeah. Arguably the best creative this company has had goes on second.
Yes. What? And then not only does it go on second, but there's stuff happening where you're like, what? Like Mariah slaps her mother. What? What is happening?
Yeah.
Did I miss something with that?
I thought it was Tony's mom.
No, it was Mariah's mother.
Oh,
that's what they kept saying. That's why I was like, why?
I was on the watch along, so I wasn't hearing all the commentary.
Yeah, they said it was Mariah's mother and she slapped her. And then Tony went over to like comfort her. And I'm like, are they trying to make Mariah into this like super heel? But also, this is a match where y'all are going to think I'm funny, but the blood was needed.
Yes, I agree. Which is why
match
early in the show. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
I totally agree with you. It was too early in the show. This match should have been a banger. I love the use of Luther again. I think it's wonderful. But yeah, it was just a little off for me. It was a little weird.
They didn't have great chemistry in the ring either. They weren't dancing well tonight. I hope they get a return out of this. Obviously, if you watch the show, Mariah May wins. Probably needed to win. They need to tell the story. And remember, they got to do another pay-per-view in 2 weeks in Chicago.
Right.
So, but I agree with Allison. The blood was needed because the blood was shed originally by Tony Storm. But when Tony does the thing like Will Ospreay's doing, they're leaning on this creative a little too much. She wouldn't attack Tony Storm with the shoe.
With the shoe, right? Which I couldn't figure out.
Just like Will Ospreay wouldn't hit the Tiger Driver 91. So, that's correct, Alex. 100%.
I was waiting. I was going to put it up later.
Yeah, I want to read it. Throw it up online. We know it's the truth.
Yes.
There will be certain emojis that are going to get.
Well, if they made the list,
there were certain emojis left off this list too
Yeah.
that we use. We'll get there.
We'll get into that too.
We'll get into
but
that.
let's go ahead and run through the wrestling.
So what's another match? So I give that match a B.
I give it a B because they were a little spied. Chris Jericho versus Hook FTW Championship.
I've never seen that match ever before.
Nope.
In our life.
They jump Hook early. Obviously, Hook beats them all up. Here comes Taz with the Taz mission on Brian Keith.
Now
and Hook gets the Taz.
Well, my deal is Hook. I mean, what do they think they're doing with Jericho and Hook here? What is Jericho giving Hook in this unending feud?
So,
because Hook needs to spring off of this and do something bigger.
I think that this
Agreed.
they're using this as the teacher and the student kind of scenario. You know, you've got Jericho, who has been in the industry a long time.
He's a super senior. He's been taught over and over again.
I'm trying really hard to be nice, though.
Yeah.
And Hook is the kid. But the part that they keep leaving out, which I was so glad they implemented today, is Hook has a dad who does wrestling.
Yeah.
Didn't need you.
And who was
that's
badass for a long time.
And he was a badass. I will tell you, before Hook's music came on, I guess it was Taz's music. Did you guys catch that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And then I will say I heard from a number of people of how excited they were to see Taz do anything. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's very limited, obviously, from his health and that sort of thing.
Right. But he had also said he would never wrestle again. So that was impressive.
D for me, honestly, because it's just another hardcore match, and quite frankly, there was no surprise in this match with the exception of Taz, because there was no way Hook was leaving Wembley without the FTW Championship.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did call on the watch along that his eye was fine. You noticed how he removed the eye patch.
Oh yeah,
his eye was fine.
I think we all knew that was coming.
Well, they did that same thing though with Jericho and Moxley in the early days of AEW. Right. When he spiked him in the eye. Next up, our favorites, the Acclaimed, took on FTR, took on the Young Bucks. And it was another multi-man tag team.
We've never
match
seen this before.
We've never seen these six guys.
This was the first match I saw because I went to get my son and I got home an hour late after the show started. And this was beginning when I got home.
And Terry, what did you think of it?
I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like, can we build a storyline with two teams or two people and get us involved in a match during the match and pull us in? And I don't see that from AEW very much. And definitely not in this match.
And I said this, and I've heard this on a couple other podcasts. Shout out to Zach Haydorn and Brass Ring Media. If you had broken up the trios team, Palmwater Dave doesn't agree with me because there's so many factions and so many wrestlers in AEW. He's right. They need trios. But if you broke up those trio teams and made them tag teams, you could have a hell of a tag team division. Yeah. And you could tell stories. You wouldn't need to rinse and repeat Acclaimed versus FTR, Acclaimed versus the Bucks, Bucks versus FTR. You wouldn't need to do that. And, of course, the Bucks win this one, and probably rightfully so. And then Grizzled Young Vets confronts them after the match. But nothing happens. So could that have been saved for Dynamite? I mean, what do we need that for?
Heather is 100% right. She says those matches are like train wrecks and you can't follow along and get invested. There's nothing. There's no story to follow along. It's just, oh look, they're fighting again. Yay! And
The very
FTR
first-
had really cool tracksuits today.
The very first Young Bucks FTR match, and I'll say this quickly because I know we're probably already behind.
Yeah.
They had a story.
Only
one
10
of the Jackson brothers hurt his foot. One of the Jackson brothers hurt his foot, but he still used the super kick. He still won. There was a story there when they beat FTR for the titles at Revolution, I believe it was. There was a story when FTR took the titles back. This one, it was kind of like, well, we better put them on the card. I mean, seriously, that's like how they did it. But anyway, hold on. I've got to see which one was next. I believe, and I could be wrong, that it was
Mercedes and Britt.
It was that or the gauntlet match.
I think it was a gauntlet match first.
Yeah, the gauntlet match. Orange Cassidy comes out first. 21 possibilities. I think we got almost all of them.
Oh my God.
Allison. Including debuting Ricochet. Shocker.
Yes.
That's right. And he was named Ricochet. So that was
Ricochet,
a big deal.
which is great. Jeff Jarrett was in there and hit Hangman with the guitar, and
it was good too. If you watched it, it was a great hit. It was spontaneous. Like it didn't look preconceived.
Wasn't like Hogan hitting somebody with a chair.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. A little tap.
Well,
ding.
there was a lot of that with Chris Jericho's match. Hitting them lightly, and I'm like, what? Yeah. Why am I watching this?
Lay that shit in, guys.
Yeah. So this was a good. I liked this match. I thought this was good.
Oh yeah, I give the tag team match like a C. Sorry, forgot about that.
Yeah. But, probably about
and I only give it a C because all three of those teams are so. I mean, you guys were in Chicago when the Acclaim should have won the tag titles.
Oh.
We just talked about the Revolution match, the other match, the FTR and the Bucks have had. It's not like they're incapable.
Yeah,
this was just there. Anyway, this little gauntlet battle royal. They bring out Nigel McGuinness, who has hepatitis. That's not something that you get over. I don't know how he can wrestle if it's in the United States. Dave and I were speculating on our watch along. We don't know that he can wrestle because you have to be cleared, blood tests and blood pressure, all that stuff.
That could be it.
We don't know that he can wrestle, which is why he's been an announcer because, his Desmond Wolfe character in TNA was fantastic. Nigel was a great wrestler in Ring of Honor, but the man has hepatitis and you can't risk infecting other wrestlers.
No.
But Nigel came out, which was actually a bigger surprise to me than Ricochet, because Ricochet, when Sean Ross Sapp put it out there on Fightful, everybody knew they were going to have to use him. And it's just like, okay, whatever. They're not going to wait till Dynamite to use him. And then fucking Christian wins.
And this is the part. So tell me if I'm wrong.
Help, Luchasaurus.
Right, and now he's Luchasaurus.
Yeah,
but Luchasaurus gamed everybody and hit the choke.
Hold on.
We
come from the era of Hakeem and the one man gang.
Correct.
So
Hakeem
would that not be awesome? Would it not be
gang.
awesome if we saw both moving forward? Luchasaurus came back.
I would not be upset. I loved Luchasaurus. I mean, the man himself is fabulous. I don't like the change to Kill Switch. It makes no sense to me. Yeah. Would I be upset? Nah, I think it could be fun. It's also, it screams Mick Foley.
I do enjoy Hakeem though better than One Man Gang, and here's why. He and Dusty went on the circuit, and that GIF that everybody that video of them doing the elbow.
Oh, it is the best video ever from that.
Everybody knows that one. That's thanks to Dusty and Hakeem, the African Dream and the American Dream. Up next, actually, I think it was Ospreay and MJF, and I might have had it wrong.
And MJF's looking like Lex Luger in those tights.
Mm-hmm. And coming out looking like Apollo Creed with the hat and the jacket.
Absolutely.
Just yelling at the crowd. Oh, he was fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic today. And Will Ospreay, so concerned about everybody, and the cameraman, the referee, finally hits the Tiger Driver.
Good stuff.
And it's a clean pin. I mean, it's one shot. We get Daniel Garcia coming back. You noticed he didn't have the Dynamite ring, though, but he had the Flair brass knuck gimmick. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about either.
Because to me, again, it's continuity. Other than, I guess, he may be easier for Danny Garcia to take the fake brass knucks off his hand instead of a ring. I don't know. Continuity, though, would say that he needs to use the ring because that's what he
Right.
busted. He busted Will Ospreay open with the ring on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Follow up
Agree.
with that. But what the hell do I know? I just been watching wrestling for 35 years.
The women's match.
I
I
thought
know
this was
somebody
an A+ match.
the
was
Daniel
good,
Garcia
very
or the
good.
women's.
No, this match was A+.
No. Oh yes, I agree.
Ospreay,
MJF
and-
Ospreay.
yeah,
The little gauntlet thing, and I'll give them an edge on the surprise. I'd give it a B.
Yeah.
Because the surprise is Christian winning in a shitty
Yeah.
way, but they almost tilt their hand that Brian's going to win later. But I don't know that many
Well-
of us really thought Brian was going to lose.
So I was watching with Frank, and we were saying whoever wins this match determines the outcome of the last match. No question.
Yeah.
'Cause if it's Hangman, you know it's got to be Swerve.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So okay, let's move on because we are running out of time.
We are.
The women's match: Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker, two stellar workers. I mean, this is Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, WrestleMania 12 all over again. And if you believe that, I'll sell you a bridge somewhere in the middle of Nebraska. It's a landlocked state, folks. The beachfront property. Anyway,
was
this
not.
match was actually better than I expected. I thought it was
Yeah, I
going
was
to be
real
far
surprised
worse.
with some of your comments because I expected you to come just shit all over it.
Well, here's what I'm going to shit all over. Like I shit all over on my Medusa podcast. That's Paving the Way, available on One True Sport. She can't hit her finish. Mercedes cannot hit your finish. And I've said the same thing about the Young Bucks and that stupid Meltzer driver. If you're going to do a finish, be able to execute said finish. She needs to change that move because Britt Baker, as small as Britt Baker is, Mercedes could not properly execute the finish.
So I will definitely say, in terms of technical wrestling, Britt Baker was unfortunately better than Mercedes. Mercedes, I felt like she was so rusty when I'm watching her try to pull off some of these moves. I'm like, well, what am I watching here? Now,
But Britt ought to be rusty too. I mean,
she should be, but she didn't
Yeah.
look as rusty to me.
okay.
Now Camille, I am ready to see Camille take over.
Yeah, definitely.
She is a powerhouse. She's got the look, she's got the moves, but they've got to again use her right.
I want to see Camille and I want to see more Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, God, yes, absolutely. All right, so that match for me was like a B-, maybe a C even.
I give it a B- too. I think that's fair, but it's the best Sasha Banks match I've seen since one of her WrestleMania matches.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Moving on from there, the coffin match. Jack Perry, Darby Allin. I predicted that Jack Perry was going to light Darby Allin on fire, and he almost did, except we got the big surprise, Sting coming in.
Now
Jack
you want to
Perry
talk about a
wins.
surprise? That was a surprise.
That was good. Jack Perry wins this. I think he needed to win this. I don't know what y'all think.
Yep, I totally agree. And as much as I always say Darby Allin's going to have a short career because he's going to kill himself at some point, Darby Allin is very good at being the seller. Very good, I think.
Yeah.
I think
Jack Perry, if they're going to make him a big deal, he's got to win something. And
yes,
this was a
agree.
good opportunity. Yeah.
And I think that this was a perfect match for that.
And they kept it short, really. And that's one thing I'll say about the pacing of this pay-per-view. This was old school AEW. They were out in 4 hours. Now, granted, they had a 2-hour pre-show, but the main card was 4 hours and they were done. And it was ball game. And that to me was great. I think Jack Perry had to win this. Darby Allin already has that world title match at Arthur Ashe Stadium that he won in the Battle Royal. I just think that if you're going to have Jack Perry be the de facto leader of the Elite, being in with Okada and the Bucks, he has got to, be somebody. And this goes a ways in doing that. Plus, as I pointed out on the watch along, and Dave kind of, sniffed at me, he's not a chicken shit heel. Jack Perry is not playing a chicken shit heel. He is playing a character that is not afraid of anybody. And he broke out the glass. And that's a CM Punk throw. So,
well, I also loved Darby Allin's tacks on his glued onto his face.
Man,
that's brilliant.
It's so stupid though. It's crazy.
But when have you seen that?
You haven't, but it's stupid.
You haven't. Why? Nobody
Hellraiser
can slap him in the face.
He's gonna
I
hurt
think it's-
himself.
No, I think it was brilliant. I loved it. I loved it. My
Yeah,
son
I've
did
given
not
this
like
one a
it.
B. I'll give this one a B because it was
I'll
such a
give it a
dumpster
B
fire.
plus. I enjoyed it. All right, last match because we are out of time.
And I'm giving it an A. Swerve Strickland
Yes.
should have won as a wrestling fan, as a lover of Bryan Danielson. This was the way to go.
Yep.
In what, 35 or 40 minutes, Danielson wins the world title.
It was a banger.
But it was a great match. It was a great match. Good moment, good way to send Danielson out because I don't think he'll hold that title long.
I think he'll lose it at All Out, honestly.
And he may. But I thought it was a great match. I think that I think Swerve has a lot of upside. They're obviously not done with the Hangman story because Hangman comes through the crowd to interfere in the match, and that really gave Danielson the advantage. Good striking in the match, good spots in the match. I mean, I give this one an A all the way, and they might even give it an A plus because they actually had some story thanks to that promo that Danielson cut Wednesday, where he starts using the F word like I do. So there you go.
Love it.
Yeah, I thought it was a good match. I didn't see the whole pay-per-view. It's good to see Danielson have a good match because we've talked about him just not being real involved in storylines and stuff.
But you know, when they put him on the card, no matter what his physical condition is, Bryan Danielson is going to deliver. And that's really what makes him one of the top 5 wrestlers in the world, even today.
Very true.
But what are the top 10 emojis in the world, Terry?
Well, let me tell you.
We don't have one for Link, or maybe we do. And that's what he said.
So the top 10 emojis, I upgraded the package on the pictures, so the AI picture is a little better. So this is the first one. So top 10 emojis.
Upgraded the package.
Yeah, that's
and we thank everybody that voted. We continue to thank you. We've got other ideas about how to get the polls out. We'll do better. But top 10 emojis, number 10. 100 points. This is the official name for this. I use the official names. Some of the official names are a little bit off of what you think.
Keeping it 100 is what it is.
100.
Not 100 points.
Keeping it 100. I use this one a lot. I use this one a lot on Andrew's reels that he sends me.
This is better than a thumbs up. This is a thumbs up to a better level.
This is where Terry came up with this idea, is I send reels and they send reactions. And that is how we got to the emojis.
And we're talking like
behind on reels.
Not a few. We're talking tens, hundreds. Yes.
We're probably triple digits on reels that I'm behind with.
All right. Well, we're also behind in time, so let's go.
Clock in. 100 is a good emoji.
That's a good one. I approve of this one.
Number 9, grimacing face. And I use this a lot. If I say something like, oops, I'm going to tell you this, but oops, I go with grimacing face. Like, oh.
I use this one. Go ahead, Andrew.
No, you're good.
I was going to say, I use this one when I'm cringing all the time. I'm just like, oh.
I use this one for cringe, and I also use this one for when I am cringe and say something that might be just a little out of pocket.
You? What?
I have not. No. I've never seen that from you, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. You're not a good judge.
Out of pocket. That's how you describe me. It'll say it on my headstone.
But it's a good
one. It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Number 8.
By the way, Terry, before you hit number 8, we did not tell everybody. We didn't get them all because, quite frankly, that's insanity.
Yeah.
Right. We did have, I will say, we had 125 options, which is by far the most, and we still left some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Like headstones and coffee.
Yeah, headstone was Now, as far as the faces go, I think I got the list of faces that would be good, but when it started getting to the other stuff, I probably missed a couple.
Yeah, Andrew and I use coffins and headstones nonstop.
Ever since the Apple iOS update.
Yep.
Number 8, face with rolling eyes.
I've never sent this one.
I don't use this one as much as I think I would. Like, you would think I would use this one more, and I don't.
I use this one often.
This one's a little dangerous. Either you can be talking to somebody about something with somebody else, and it's kind of a safe one. Like you're rolling your eyes at a third person. Sometimes, though, if you're rolling your eyes at that person,
oh, yeah, that could be bad.
This could be a challenge.
I agree. All
Very,
right.
very true.
Very good point.
Number 7,
Yeah.
skull and
right.
crossbones.
There you go, Andrew. This is
So
our
I use the regular skull more often than the one
Okay.
crossbones.
There's
Go ahead.
there's 2 uses of the skull from me.
Mhm.
The first skull is what I have as my tagline, I'm dead. Because that just means I'm corpsing, I'm laughing, whatever. This is throw the bones, which is the black shirts Nebraska defense from back in the day.
Oh my God.
That is what that means. So when you see me use that, it's most of the time on a football post.
See,
or
I
in
use this.
response to something Nebraska's defense does.
Wow.
I look at this and I see poison. So I think I use this when I'm thinking you're killing me.
Poison. Okay.
Yeah. Right? Because if you
I
think of
I love the thought process that everybody has on these.
I mean, it's what I see when I see that. And so I'll use that if you're killing me.
No.
Okay.
For I'm dead, it's the head.
We're going to see a lot of this Saturday in Lincoln, but we'll get to that in hour 2.
All right.
Number 6, thinking face. And I use this. I'll throw a big long-winded idea post out there and say, like I did the other day.
Yeah, you did.
I
5
need to write it
paragraphs,
out.
and
I
then
need to
that.
write it out to do all these polls.
I think this is good. This is a good one. I'm all right with this.
Yep.
Number 5, winking face with tongue. And this is
That
very
has to be
popular.
Dave in the HSV.
That
This is-
yeah.
I said something flirty
Mhm.
or I said something dirty.
Yep.
That's what I use it for.
I don't
I
do
don't
that.
use this
So
emoji.
You don't
guys,
do that.
You guys
Rob.
have never. I can promise you all, you've never seen this one from me.
No, because I would say you would send this to gentlemen,
Yeah, not to you.
not
He's hoping
Terry.
they're not gentlemen anyway.
All right.
Probably not, gentlemen. Correct.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
he said.
Number 4, winking face.
I don't use this much as the smirking face. I use the smirking face more. So where you use the last one
Mhm.
for flirty, dirty things, I use the smirky face for that.
Yeah, I don't use this one
Okay.
either.
Yeah. I'm not happy like this, so
I think this is a more
I don't think this is-
positive,
Yes.
hey, I got you,
Mm-hmm.
wink,
Yeah, I
good
don't
to
do that.
go kind of deal. You don't do that?
Have
I
you met
don't
us?
do that. That's not for us.
This is very much dominated by faces, by the way.
Yes. And Alex says this one was in his top 3.
I believe that. He's always smiling.
He's always smiling. I agree.
Always
Number
smiling.
3, face with
Okay.
tears of joy. This is my most commonly used one for laughing.
So
I don't use this one for laughing.
my tagline is if I'm not crying, I'm lying. If I send you a smiley face and it doesn't have tears, it means it's not real. Because if I'm laughing at you, it will be this one or the other one with
Yeah.
tears.
Mine is the rolling one,
Yes.
not this one. But I have used this one when I'm not given the option.
Mhm. Okay.
All right. Number 2, face blowing kiss. And I don't use this ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I use it very often. All right. Maybe this is more of a girl one. I don't
use
know.
that. I use that one after I've delivered
I was
a
going to
very
say
sarcastic comment.
Yes,
you
you
do. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
you
I
do.
mean,
Yes,
there's
that is true.
there are multiple uses for this
Like
one.
I'm
I
about
think.
to shit on you, and then I'm going to end it with this to kind of balance it out. That's what Andrew does.
Oh God! All right,
All
number
right.
one.
Number 1, and it should be a big surprise because Andrew already gave it away. Rolling on the floor laughing. It is basically
mine.
the other one tilted
That's
about
it.
15 degrees.
So this
Yeah,
one's also mine as well.
This is mine. Yeah, this was my number 1, and it wasn't close. Even though Alex Wheaton, to your point, the eggplant and peach made the list, and I have been guilty of using both in inappropriate and inappropriate settings. However, I guess our voters were not.
Well, I will say eggplant was number 11
Oh
There you
wow!
go.
Really?
because I was watching really closely as the
He
voting
was-
went on.
he-
Because
So-
eggplant was 11 and 100 points or whatever was number 10. So I thought it might overtake it, depending on the dirty mind of the person voting in the late
he
round.
was watching very closely.
I will say I am surprised that neither the face palm nor the hand shrugging made the list.
I do like the person shrugging one
Yeah.
a lot.
Same.
Like a lot of times, because here's how this works. I put a poll out, and then I get flooded back with comments about why is this not an option, and I always throw the hell if I know.
And I'm constantly doing the face palm because people are
Oh,
stupid.
yeah.
But that's just
She sends me that one at least once a week because I've said something out of pocket. I think we've established on
I
the
think
show.
we figured that out. Yeah.
But in reality, the heart, no matter
Mhm.
what color, is a much more commonly used one. It just didn't
Yeah.
get voted high.
I was surprised about that too. Here we go, Randy. Randy's melting for me. See?
There you
I
go.
love you, Randy. Can't wait to see you soon.
All right, so let me run them down. And this is the first time I put anything but words on this rundown list. I did this. This was what I was doing right before I got in the studio, just to let you know.
All right.
100 points, and these are the official names. Like I said, I didn't make them up. 100 points is number 10, grimacing face number 9, face with rolling eyes number 8. Number 7 is skull and crossbones. Number 6 is thinking face. Winking face with tongue is number 5. Regular winking face is number 4. Face with tears of joy is number 3. Face blowing a kiss is number 2. And rolling on the floor laughing wins the whole thing.
And Devin wins because he sent all 10 to his wife within this past week.
That's good.
Good job, Devin. We're very
He's
proud.
also
Way to go,
set number
Devin.
11, but we're not going to get
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's another
He
story.
might have. Who knows? Might have given it to her person. They are married.
All right.
Well, all right. Ram Network.
Tell me what's going
Ram-
on the RAM network, because I know you ran this down.
Ram Nation, Pondwater Dave and company. That's Allison. You are Allison. That's Amy and Justin Davis are going to be talking about All In 2024 here in, I guess it'll be Tuesday. They'll be live. They don't have a guest this week.
That's right.
So they'll be doing this particular rundown the same as we did. I imagine because Dave watches things through the eyes of a referee, he'll have a couple of different takes on it. Amy watches them through the eyes of a wrestling fan. And I don't know Justin well enough to know how he watches them, but I do know he was a basketball referee. So maybe that affects the way he watches wrestling. I'm not really sure. I do know that Pondwater Dave had several things he did not like about the refereeing on this particular show. But there you go. And for our friends that like Filter Free Popcast, they're doing August 1988. Young Guns, the movie is released, which made Blaze of Glory a very popular song.
That was Young
Bob
Guns
Joe.
too.
Straight out of Compton. All right. Whatever. I don't care. Straight out of Compton. By the NWA. And
yeah.
not the National Wrestling Alliance, was released.
What does it stand for, Andrew?
It stands
Okay,
with
moving
Blank
along.
with Attitude.
Let's keep going.
I didn't get us canceled, but I am a fan of NWA and really, really admire what they did from a social standpoint using music and culture in 1980, in the 1980s. The same as, what's the one Flavor Flav was the frontman for?
Goodness.
Public Enemy?
God.
Or not Public Enemy?
No. Wasn't it Public Enemy?
You know what I'm talking about. And then Wu-Tang Clan, same thing. Anyway. But yeah, Straight Outta Compton is a banger. If you've never heard it, just know that you don't want to listen to it with little ears around. Or in Allison's case, her son who abhors swearing. And they're going to do a deep cut on 8/8/1988, the uprising in Myanmar. That is not Tiananmen Square, I do not believe, but because Myanmar is a different country. Anyway, that is what the boys at the Filter Free Popcast are doing when Dave in the HSV returns from his gallivanting around Europe, or maybe they recorded it beforehand. Timmy C and, of course, TJ Stevens. Generations at some point. We're going to do Royal Rumble watch-along for all the members of the Ram Network. 93. Razor Ramon versus Bret Hart. Yokozuna wins the Royal Rumble. I know you're shocked by that, but it was 31 years ago. It's also the first Royal Rumble that officially has the number one contender line, number one contender on it. And then world-class flashback, because I would be remiss if we didn't talk about world-class championship wrestling and how awful the Von Erichs are. They're still fighting the Freebirds.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, are the Von Erichs fighting the Freebirds?
Yeah, and apparently my dogs are fighting each other because they're barking. But yes, the the Von Erichs are still fighting the Freebirds, and it's still shitty wrestling.
All right.
All right. Thanks for running it down for us. And we will make this a little bit more brief than normal to conclude because we did talk a long time about wrestling. And then
Well,
we did a
real
list.
quick, I will be at Raw tomorrow.
That's right.
And then the following, not next Sunday, but the Sunday after, I'll be at All Out. So I will not be on the show.
All right. Oh, we're going to be on our own.
Mhm.
Okay. And he's
The
muted.
dogs were barking. I caught. We're going to be on our own. What?
In 2 weeks. Sorry, dude. I'm going to be at All Out. I'm going to be in Chicago.
Well, thanks for being here tonight. It's been fun. We do have another show coming up in about 5 minutes after we mute it for a minute and go refresh ourselves, and we'll come back. But thanks as always for Allison and Andrew and everybody that joined in, everybody that voted. The emojis was fun. We hope we come up with engaging polls in the future like that one. I think everybody can relate unless they're not super old. So, we like things you can relate to.
Or
But
have
thanks
a
for joining
flip
everybody.
phone. I know
That's
people
right.
that have a flip
I don't think
phone.
my dad's really rolling on the floor laughing emoji to anybody.
We will teach him the way.
Yes.
But he does have that last channel viewed button set up on his remote to get to the Braves game in case we're watching football.
Or the football game, which in 5 minutes we're going to talk about. Yes, sir. You can reach out to any of us on social, direct messages. We're TNA Top 10 on all platforms, aren't we, Terry?
We are.
And then Terry's T-Weave79 on Twitter. I'm 30-year fan. Allison is Allison Faye. And I think Alex.
The question was,
and we're working on a better way to feedback. But we're busy and we haven't implemented it yet.
Any way to submit ideas? Yes, please. Just reach out to us directly. Was what I was.
Any way you can get a hold of us is fine. There's no official way. But we do thank you for coming, Alex, because you've been really supportive and we appreciate that. And everybody else for joining in and commenting and voting. And, if you're staying for the football show, give us about 5 minutes and we'll be back. But as always, love your people. Tell them you love them. Make it weird. Thanks for showing up, everybody.